Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do a reading. I'm going to show you first how you would do a reading with someone sitting across from you. So you take your cards and you can talk to the person and shuffle the cards and find out their question, things like that. Now, one thing that I learned to do, and my mentor actually does, is you take the time to set and ask for the other side to assist you in doing the reading. So I actually take a silent moment, and it's God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, Universe, archangels, good people on the other side, and spirit guides. Please help me to do this reading. In some instances, I make sure I ask for that person's spirit guides to come because depending on the question. So I've asked for help and I put energy into the cards. And then I ask the person, would you like to shuffle the cards? They always want to. And then you give them the deck and you let them just shuffle them in any way that they want. And then they give them back to you. And then I tell them that I'm going to spread out the cards and I'm going to ask you to select 10 cards and put one on top of the other. I do not tell them, actually, I'm not going to tell them it's 10 cards because they start counting and just say, I'll let you know when to stop. So you spread the cards out in front of them, and I don't have a tablecloth. If you have a tablecloth, you can just whoosh them and they go right out. So you put the cards out and you ask them to start selecting cards and put one on top of the other. So they would just do this in front of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're counting in your head. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then you tell them, okay, stop there. Do tell them to have whatever question they have that they've already told you. They're thinking about that. Most of your readings that you're going to do for people are love and money. So, and most of them are going to be love. And so you can go ahead and say, just think about, the relationship you want to have. Think about love or think about whatever when you're selecting cards. So they've taken their 10 and you're going to take these away and then you're going to take those 10. And then you're going to go ahead and just put out the cards so that you can read them. And I do not do the thing where if it comes upside down, you read it a different way. I don't do that. And neither does my mentor. It works really well for us. And we don't have to think up more meanings. Because a lot of times people will say, oh, if it's upside down, it means something else. We just turn it around and we read it that way. Because the people that are helping me know that's how I read. So I've got my spread down and I can go ahead and do the reading for them. So you've already gotten the question. And you've already, if you feel confident in doing a timeline, you should practice doing it. But when you really have a client, if you feel like you're not good with the timelines, don't do it. But otherwise, you've already asked them for their timeline. And you go ahead and interpret the cards all the way around, and then you're finished. Sometimes, but rarely, because I have 10 cards, they may have a different question to add on to it, or we want to get a clearer answer. I will go ahead and select 3 cards and myself out of the rest of the deck and continue on. So I rarely do that. 10 cards should go ahead and give you the whole story for them. So you have already shuffled the cards, you've asked for help, you have put them out on the table for the other person to go ahead and select, and then you've made your cross or your card spread, and then you start interpreting it. So I'm going to go ahead and now show you how I do readings now. I seldom do anyone in person. Even my family, we do that in Messenger or something, fast readings. How I do this online is that I connect via the computer to that person's energy and their thoughts and intents for the question. They've already told me the timeline. For you at the beginning, get more, you can get more information if they want to tell you the story and they broke up with someone, and so am I going to get back together, he was the love of my life, and we on and on and on. They give you a story at the beginning when you're first reading. Go ahead and listen to it because it's going to help you understand the cards more. When I do a reading, I have it written right there. I don't want to know anything because that doesn't give validation when I come up with the same thing they already told me in the story. So I prefer not to know anything about anything. Just give me a quick question or a subject to look at. So the people, usually it's money, love, health, um, things like that. And then the other thing, they can ask for specific questions and instead of just a subject. So whatever you have to look at. So I go online and I connect to that energy. I shuffle the cards. I ask for help from the other side. And then I go ahead and shuffle them. And then I spread them out myself. I select the 10 cards, one on top of the other. And then, so let's say this is 10 cards here. I actually put my hand over and I say, let these be the cards I need to easily do this reading. Because you need to tell the other side that you really want an easy reading. And that the cards that are selected aren't complicated, that they give you the idea right away so that you can answer this question. So I do put my hand over. You could just say, if you believe in magic, you can just say, let these be the magic cards, whatever you want to say that just gives to the other side that just let these be okay, the cards that I need to do this reading, and do it easily. And then I put the cross out and I read it, and then I type my response back to the people. And I really like it that way because I can take more time to sit and look at the cards and study them and get that inspirational thought, that psychic thought from the other side to come in, and I go, okay, I've got to add this to it because that's what's happening. And a lot of people, it helps to be psychic. I really do believe that everyone can develop their psychic ability. What happened to me when I was young, I was psychic. I heard a voice when I was a young teenager, a booming man's voice talk to me. And it really scared me, and I really feel like I kind of closed up. I never wanted to hear that again. That was really frightening. Um, but it was just the beginning of things for me. I never heard the voice again, and I really wish they talked to me now. But I always knew stuff, and I always felt like there was a force field around me. I could feel it. I could feel it, how far it went out. I could feel it. I take my hand in and go, wow, there's like a wall there. I also would play games, and I could roll sixes over and over and over and over and over again. I just say, I want to roll sixes. I love to win contests, and to this day I do. I just put my intent in, oh, I really want to win that. And everybody thought, boy, you're really lucky, really lucky. And I started going to like baby showers, and they'd say, just give her the gifts because the prizes because she wins them all. So I stopped winning on purpose. It was a little embarrassing, but I win big contests and all kinds of things. So you can manifest for that. So I knew that I had some psychic ability. I knew that, boy, I could tell them I told you so, but I didn't want to do that. That's rude. But I really had really good advice to give people. And it wasn't until I really got sick once, and the doctor said without surgery I wasn't going to survive. Well, I survived, and I noticed that I really was knowing things and stronger and stronger. One thing that happened is my brother-in-law was really ill, and it came over me like a ton of bricks that he needed to buy necklaces for his girls. And that was kind of frivolous and stupid, and he was staying with me while he was getting treatment, my sister and her husband. And I go, I can't go up to him. He has terminal cancer, and I can't say, well, at that point we didn't know. I couldn't say, you need to buy necklaces for the girls. But I was so compelled to go out myself and buy necklaces. And I bought necklaces. I put them in a closet in the guest room. And I thought, boy, was that dumb. I mean, why did I do that? And so when he was having surgery and he was in a cancer hospital, the girls came up to the guest room and they were staying with me. And I said, gee, the funniest thing happened. I had this overwhelming um, feeling that your dad had to buy you guys necklaces. And I said, I opened the closet door and I said, I bought these necklaces. I just don't know what that was about. And they all just had big white eyes, and they all reached into their blouses and they pulled out diamond crosses that he had made his or asked his wife to go out and buy for all the girls and also for her. And I was like, oh, wake up, Debbie, what's going on here? Something's going on here. And one other thing that happened too before I went and learned how to do tarot cards and develop the psychic part, I was called to the hospital. My other brother-in-law, was just told that he has terminal lung cancer, and I wanted to be there for his daughter, my niece. So I was there, and he kind of woke up, and he's talking about going to work, get home and go to work and stuff, and I know he's already been told. I know he's already been told that he only had 2 weeks to live and he was terminally ill. And so I asked him, do you remember talking to the doctor? And then I said to him, you're terminally ill. It's, the worst stage. It's the end stage. And he said, how long do I have to live? And I said, 2 weeks. And he said, okay. He was a trooper. He said, okay, all right. And so later on, the doctor came. Now, I've not seen the doctor. Went out into the hallway, and we're talking to the doctor, and the doctor's saying, well, yeah, maybe 3 months or whatever. And I'm like, well, excuse me, what? I said, doesn't he have 2 weeks to live? And the doctor said, no. And I said to my niece, did you tell me he had 2 weeks to live? And she goes, no. And I said, oh, dear God, I just told him he had 2 weeks to live. And she said, it's okay, it's all right. But I was very stressed out. What did I just tell him? And that wasn't right. Now, we never really corrected that. I don't know what they ever talked about. But in 14 days, he died. And I know that came into my mind. And I came right out of my mouth. And that's what happens a lot of the times when I have the psychic thoughts come in. I just say it in conversation. And then I have to really think, oh my goodness, that's important, because that just came out of my mouth, and that is psychic. And it's always right. Predicted an earthquake once. Out of my mouth just came to my husband that we hadn't talked to one of our sons about being ready in case a big earthquake comes. And I live in Southern California, and the next day the big earthquake came. So it's good to be psychic. You can develop it. I went to a psychic development class, and we did all kinds of things. One of the things that was very interesting was psychometry, which I've never done. I don't think I'll ever do it again. But we all put something that we had in our pocket or purse into a bowl, and that was put away, and then we had a class. And at the end of the class, she brought the bowl, and I said, you know what, I'm going to make a fool of myself, given a story that I make it up in my head by grabbing somebody's stuff and holding it. So I grabbed in and pulled out a lipstick, and then I said, okay, well, I'm going to be like John Edward, I guess. I go, I'm pulled here, and I'm pulled to this lady here. And I said, I'm going to go with you over here. And I said, this is about business. It's a question about business. I see a big J, and I see a big L, and I started writing in the air, and I said, oh, you want to know if you're making the right decision, and I'm going to tell you you're not, but you have to do it that way, because that's how you're going to learn. You're not going to be really happy with it, but you're going to learn that way. So, that's what I get, a big giant L and a J and whatever. And I was stunned, because the girl just said, it is a business question. My partner's name is Jerry and Lynn, and I want to know if I should leave the business. And I just looked at her and I said, you're going to leave the business, and it's not going to work out the way you want, but it's meant to be because it's a learning lesson for you. And I just couldn't believe that I came up with that, and I never did it again. Never really. It was somebody once, another psychic gave me a ring, and I just told her what I thought was going to happen in an event that she was part of. But I never did it again, and I really should work on that and develop that. So anyway, how I feel about tarot card reading, it's so important. You are really helping people and giving them advice. So it's a real responsibility to do that. Um, I also put a disclaimer that it's for entertainment purposes only. That is just to really a legal thing. It's like a party game type thing. And then also I'm an ordained minister, which you can go and do online even. And that helps you legally also, because you can then give free counseling and advice to people. So I use common sense. I use my psychic ability, and the other side helps me when I'm doing these readings. They help the person to, or myself to select the cards. So that's really an important thing. So that is about that part of this, and in a minute we're going to recap everything.